carbonated
beverage.
I had to change pants.
You had to change pants.
I was like, oh, this is too hot.
Did you get excited for the pod, mate? Tom's back. Tom's back. Change him. Pilot. Coming made easy.
I think that's the opposite of that product.
What?
I think it's coming made a little harder.
I've been taking it wrong. I've been snorting that shit, hoping to finally finish.
Man, ever since I started taking Pilot, I'm coming like that. Finally.
You can just see the Pilot representative from behind the camera. Shut up. No, you're ruining it.
I'm getting so much done.
You're wasting all the goodwill you've created for us.
How's this insult I got copped from my dad today?
Hello.
He said that he was worried about me because I was in bed till quite late in the afternoon today, recovering from Adelaide.
Yes.
But I came down and he goes, "Oh, Andrew, we were worried about you. There was a story out about a guy matching your description that was attempting to jump off the Hunters Hill Bridge."
And your dad just brought you to that?
No.
Like, hey, Andrew, hello. Did he come in the room or did you leave the room?
No, I come downstairs. He's like, you're here. He goes, we were worried about you. And then he goes, until we heard the full description, it said it was a tall white guy with brown hair and tattoos and a slim build. And then we realized it wasn't you.
I've been doing some writing for your dad recently.
Yeah.
So he got me with the old fat sledge right at the end.
I quite like that. Just like, oh, Dad, you made me feel real bad. Is there a bridge nearby? I mean, that's the only way you'd be able to kill yourself. You got no neck. Impossible to noose up. Where are you going to put it?
Yeah, well, the guy apparently didn't even jump off the bridge anyway. He got talked down.
By whom? Your father?
No.
Hey, you look good. You should see my kid. You should see my fat fucking kid. You feel great about yourself.
He couldn't lift himself up there.
Come home with us. I'll introduce you.
Yeah, I can't bring him on the bridge. It's not strong enough.
All right, that's enough of that. There we go.
Enough of that gear?
Try and share stories with you guys.
Well, no, the last time that we saw each other was in Adelaide at a bakery, and oh boy, did we do some damage. I think everyone in the party was a two-pie hero that evening.
Yeah, they were good pies.
Was it a 24-hour bakery in Adelaide?
Yeah. Absolutely, O'Connell. Yeah. Baker and O'Connell, shout out.
I was getting a bit nervous because I've been hearing about it all week, and I was like, I can't leave Adelaide.
I was getting nervous. I heard there was food I might have to eat.
You're like, if there's no closing time, how will I know when it's time to leave? They do every meal?
I've forgotten how many dinners I'm up to. How long have I been here?
When does dinner stop and breakfast start?
It's like Shutter Island. Am I a customer or a work here? What's going on?
Yeah, so we were at some after party thing for Axe, and I was already
party thing for Axe,
and I was trying to leave.
My first thought was like, who's Axe?
Circus performer. Obviously.
I was trying to leave with a group of people, and then Dan had just arrived, and so I felt bad saying like, "Hey, you're here, we're going." So we had a beer, and then I
really had to twist your arm on that one.
Yeah, wait, did you get beers at the bakery?
No, this is before. We're at the artist bar.
The artist bar.
Yep, the bar for artists. Where the guy got me with a fucking ripper on the way in. One security guard on his own. I'm like, hey man, I'm just coming to the artist bar, and he's like, oh, do you have your artist pass? And I said, nah, but I can show you my show description on the website with a photo of me. And so I brought it up, and it's just me wearing a red tracksuit in front of him wearing a red tracksuit on the screen wearing a red tracksuit, and he's like, nah, bro, that's not you. And I was like, what?
Classic gear.
I was like, what? Seriously? And he's like, nah, go in.
I fucking love that.
So good.
Do you think when you were like, are you serious? Was he like, come on, man, it was obviously a joke, or was he really trying to fuck with you?
No, it was Stone-Faced Killer.
Oh,
it was very good.
They love doing that.
It was very hot work.
Yeah, they want to know that the joke works, right? They can trick you for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tricked. He had me.
I remember
he was Asian. Does it make it different? A little bit.
Why? Tell us how it makes it different.
See how I guess it? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Flip the races in that scenario. It's not happening, fellas. It's not happening, fellas. That is not how that conversation takes place. White security guard telling Asian, hey, that's not you.
Yeah. Look, I've already let in 4 Aaron Chens tonight, but I'm not taking the risk.
I like it. But yeah, bakery.
So before that, Dan was talking to another comic, Robin Perkins, and I came to pitch to him. We were going, and then I thought in my head, I'd had a few beers, and it was also, I thought it was a very hilarious reference to Arrested Development. I was like, I guess you could say I'm pie curious, and it bombed in front of them. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, around my boys, that would have killed.
Mate, if I was on home turf right now, this game would have gone different.
What I would give for a 24-hour bakery in Perth.
Man, if you put a white background behind me.
Because there's that brilliant scene.
Oh, well, Robin doesn't have to drink, I guess.
Because there's that amazing scene out of Arrested Development where Tobias goes to like this leather store, like kinky like store, and I go, "Oh, not you again. Are you going to buy this time, or are you just curious?" And he goes, "I guess you could say I'm bi-curious," and it's hilarious. And so, yeah, I was channeling that, but no one got the reference. So I'm just sitting there like with two people like going like, "Oh."
I like that you've brought it up again to fight for it. It bombed. You should have left it there. You should have left it in Adelaide where it belongs with all the other bodies in the
Right
barrel.
in. If you thought bi-curious was hilarious, right in.
Flogcabin@gmail.com. I dare you to write in to back that joke.
So we got pies, and they were really good.
Yes. And we did a bit of pastry self-harm because we both went in for the chili cheese Kransky sausage roll.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the jalapeno pie as well. So there was a lot of hot stuff going in.
I had the satay pie.
Oh, that's...
Satay
is that any
pie.
good?
Well, not when I was combining it absentmindedly with tomato sauce. I was like, this is where pies go. And then I was eating it, and I'm like, this feels wrong. This feels like a melting pot.
So wait, was the chili cheese Kransky, was it was a bit of a rough one? It was a hard one?
It was just...
I thought it was delicious.
I loved it. But like chili, cheese, pastry, sausage simultaneously at 3:30.
Oh, okay. When you said pastry self-harm, I thought you meant the heat, but you just mean generally the density.
Yeah.
It was also unnecessary.
How were your shits on Sunday? Let's get into that.
Not the best. Yeah.
And at least
but
you
I
had
had
one.
two pies. I had two pies and half a Kransky, so that was quite a lot.
Yeah,
But
we Lady in the Tramp.
there was actually
Kransky.
a couple of fans from my show. They were sitting there near us, and they were wearing nothing. They had been at a music festival, and they were all in like fluoro.
I forgot about
G-bangers.
them. Yeah.
Oh, seriously?
In kind of like mesh.
All dudes?
No, it was mostly chicks. One dude.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they were. I was like, well, obviously you guys haven't had any drugs if you're at a pie shop. And they're like, oh no, we've had heaps of drugs. I'm like, oh, they mustn't be very good then. Yeah, no, we don't get good drugs in Adelaide.
I suppose you guys are here because you're a little pie curious. Am I right? Kills. Absolutely kills. Dan, nowhere to be seen.
Oh, the redemption arc on this yarn. Love it.
It's coming back, baby.
I think Tom must have missed you. He helped you there.
He really did.
He actually made your joke work.
Thanks, brother.
That's what you need. But no, but at the same time, the reason Tom Witcombe, as I think I foreshadowed before last week's ep, the reason you weren't in Adelaide because you're Bucks.
I was.
You had your bloody Bucks on Saturday.
I sure did.
Now we have a little surprise to spring on you. Re the Bucks.
Okay.
Because we couldn't attend.
Have you got the results?
I do have the results. Okay. So
This is so foreboding. I don't love this.
no,
I was assuming we got a little surprise for you Bucks. I'm like, here comes the strippergram. Here we go. This is gonna go viral.
Imagine, oi, stripper to an office at 6 p.m. on a Monday. Yeah, that's when you're going to turn up. Nothing weird.
We're gonna have to mic you up. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, and the lighting is unforgiving. But no, so because we couldn't attend your Bucks, what I thought would be fun to do was create Tom Witcombe Bucks Bingo. So I created a bingo card for things that I assumed was going to happen throughout the Bucks, and we sent it to the three comedians who attended your Bucks: Anthony Lacazio, Sam Bowden, and Alex Milinkovic.
Very quickly, I just wanted to say my dad was at my Bucks and he sent me a message for it. He was like, hey, I didn't take many photos of your Bucks, but I got this one and it's a cracker. And it was just of those three guys. I was not in it.
I mean, look, I assume that's your relationship with your dad, just working backwards. But no, so I sent them through.
Was a weird relationship with my dad on the bingo list or?
Nah, your mum is mentioned.
Okay.
But, you know, actually, is your dad's name Nick?
It is.
He followed me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Weird.
I should have put a over under on what time the party wrapped up as well.
Well, we were doing bingo, mate. We don't endorse gambling here. We don't like gambling on this podcast.
What time it wrapped up?
Yeah.
I say 2 a.m. latest.
Yeah, spot on, 2 a.m.
There we go.
Very good.
Very good job.
There we go.
I was like, I'm going to impress Hamo here, and then you went 2. It was like, fuck.
By the way, for the first time in Flog Cabin history, that was a high five, not a mouth noise. For now, wondering what happened there, I'm going to be editing that out later. Be like, wait, no, that was fun. So this was the bingo card.
Okay.
I gave each person 5 things that I thought would happen for them to get bingo.
Was this did you give it to them before or after the Bucks party?
Before.
Okay.
So all day they were texting me, not frequently enough, I got to say. I felt pretty left out. But Lacasio's bingo was somebody calls Tom shitty or shitcombe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Person wears RM Williams.
Yeah.
Flog Cabin podcast is mentioned.
There we go.
Stripper/strippers. And ironic racism. They were the 5. They were the 5 for Lacasio there. Bowden's...
We got a black stripper, but it was a joke.
Don't worry, we're paying her. It's not weird.
Wait, are you saying he hit all 5?
No, I'm just saying that was his card.
Okay,
That was his card. I'll get to the results later.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Then the second one, Bowden, was a school teacher mentioned by name.
Okay.
Person wearing hat that isn't a cap.
Okay.
Tom is accused of punching.
Oh, okay. Good.
Round of shots ordered. One of Tom's jokes is mentioned/misquoted.
That's good. Yeah, very good.
And then finally, Milinkovic, they make jokes about Tom's mum being hot. 3+ people wearing light-coloured /white shorts or pants.
Mm-hmm.
Rugby union is mentioned. Cocaine. And non-ironic racism/homophobia. That was the 15. They were the 15 options.
All right.
And Hammer, you don't know the result, do you?
I do not know the results.
Do you want to think if anyone got bingo?
I don't think anyone got bingo. I think someone got close. I reckon someone hit 4.
Okay, Tom, do you reckon you were there? Do you reckon anyone?
I don't think anyone got bingo. I reckon Low Cash would have been the closest of those 3. Gut feel?
You are correct. He got 3 out of 5.
Okay.
RM Williams, ironic racism, Flog Cabin.
Yep.
But Milinkovic did say the ironic racism might have been him. So we're not 100% sure on that one. And then Bowden got round of shots, misquoting your joke. And Milinkovic got 2 as well, rugby union and cocaine.
Allegedly. Yep.
Rugby union. You can never prove it. We were fucking high. Could have been league. But yes.
So no strippers. That's quite tasteful.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, the thing that I found interesting is they seem to suggest that at the start of the Bucks, your dad called you shitty, but like they thought it wasn't a nickname thing.
I don't believe that happened, but I've been wrong before. I don't think so. That's the thing when you read that one out, and this is how programmed I am with that nickname, where it's like, oh, someone definitely they could have been calling me that the whole day, and I wouldn't have been able to say for sure.
Sure, it's just that locked in.
Yeah.
Could have been anything.
So could you talk us through what actually happened?
Yeah.
We started at the Rocks Brewing Co. in Alexandria, and we went to a place called Hijinks Hotel. Have you ever heard of Hijinks Hotel?
No.
Hijinks. What happens there?
It's like the best hijinks. Sorry, I missed it. The best explanation I heard of it was like it's basically a live action Mario Party. Basically, you go to like 5 rooms. They're kind of like escape rooms, but not really. And in each room is there like an activity. You do it and you get points.
And how many of those doors did your dad open for you?
Good. There we go.
At the top of each door was a glass ceiling, unperturbed.
Not bothered on this particular Saturday.
So was that fun?
Yeah, it was fun. It was short. It was short but sweet. It was
I
fun.
think I need to be pissed to have fun with that.
No, I don't know.
With the
like,
hijinks?
With the hijinks.
What was one of the rooms? Can you give us like anything?
one of the rooms was basically you had like balls from a ball pit, and you had to get them into a hole, and you needed to get as many in as possible in the time that you had. Mm-hmm. There was another one which was like on the side of a wall. They were kind of like little light up squares, and you had to hit them all in a time limit before they went out.
Sounds like challenges in like the movie Saw, but like you don't like die horribly.
There's no consequences.
Yeah.
All right.
But like tests, like a series of tests.
Kind of, yeah, but they weren't really like pass fail. They were point scoring.
So like as a bunch of private school boys, I'm sure Hated that. The ability to compete and compare immediately.
So that was short and sweet, you said?
They were pretty short and sweet. We were out by in 40 minutes, and then we went to dinner.
I'm assuming you can't drink at that venue?
You could drink at the venue, but not in the games.
Okay, all right.
So then afterwards, we had drinks there. And then we went. We had dinner or like a kind of late lunch, bottomless margaritas, and then we went to Lardy Darts, which is the darts bar in King's Cross. And then we just kind of, yeah.
I've been going over Bucks Party's activities as part of my show this year, and darts has always been avoided. That's kind of classy.
We were trying to guess because you said what the pub crawl started where? It was Alexandria.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought you were going to go to like Skies, like that bounce. What's that thing?
Oh yeah.
I said well, Maniacs maybe.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. The ones in that same complex, there was Archie Brothers, which is like the big arcade.
Yeah.
There's a Holy Moly, and there's this thing, and I think they're kind of owned by the same people.
Oh yeah.
I actually did bowling at Archie Brothers, really high on cocaine one time, and I got a really high score.
How high?
I think it was like 280 or 270.
No, you
That's
didn't.
come on, fuck off. 280, 270 is like 9 strikes.
300's a perfect game.
I was very high on cocaine, and I just couldn't miss. And then I've been
I
trying.
don't buy this at all.
There is no way. There is no. We will verify this. Who were you there with?
An ex-girlfriend who I don't think she would hear from me, but we can.
How convenient.
It was very high, and I was very high, and I have never been able to get close again.
I think there's no way it's over 250. Like,
Yeah.
250 and up is wild.
Yeah.
Because you got, what is it, 20 for a strike,
10
then
for a strike, and then if you get
Get a
double,
double strike, you get
20, and then
Yeah.
like another one is 30.
Yeah.
So like that means you're really only not getting a strike like twice.
Yeah.
Everything else is a strike.
Yeah. It may have been lower.
it definitely was lower.
I'm just imagining one American who likes 10-pin bowling, like, fuck off, there's no way.
It was definitely over 200. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think anything over 200 is wild.
Yeah,
that's huge.
you're like, Andrew Hamilton is now the world bowling champion,
Well, 'cause I was-
but only when he's very high on cocaine.
I was walking around making. I was drawing a lot of attention to myself because obviously I was high on drugs, but also sort of going like, I am the greatest bowler alive.
Who do you think you are? I am.
So there you go.
There you go. A bowling champion. I mean, I doubted you in the spelling bee. Maybe it's another skill.
No, well, I haven't gotten close.
Like lanes, lines, it's all there. It's in the Hamo wheelhouse. He operates.
So where did the night end up? Where was the last stop on the sesh party?
We were at that darts bar. There was like a balcony. We sat out there for a very long time, and then we went to the old Fitz where Artie was. Artie was working. Friend of mine. Friend of ours.
Friend of the pod?
Friend of the pod.
I was going to say friend of the pod. We don't really say that, do we? Friend of the pod.
We do today.
We do now. Okay.
Friend
Friend of the pod. Artie was there.
Actually, Artie's a fan of Flog Cabin.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Shout out, Artie.
Artie bought a round of drinks because Artie was working there, and they'd closed up, and we went there, or they were closing up. And I had half of one. I was like, this is not a good idea. And then I left.
You smoke bombed your own bucks.
No, there was only 5 of us left by that stage.
Did the comedians make it to the end?
Yes, they did.
All 3?
No, Lokesh had to leave to go to an engagement party. Lokesh had to go to his, this is weird, his best man's sister's engagement party.
Best man's sister. Is he friends with the sister?
I mean, I guess, but the way he talked about her was, it's my friend's sister. Like... That's some,
Not my friend, my friend's sister.
some European family stuff, right?
Versus-
Like,
Yeah.
Versus your
Western, Occidental gentleman behavior.
What time did he leave the party?
I think he left about 6:30, maybe.
Okay, so it's quite early in the night.
It's pretty early.
So
I feel like...
to still have gotten the lead on the bingo.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he subbed himself out of that. Because all he needed was strippers and someone to call him Tom Shitty. Surely that's more likely to happen later on.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if people there would have called me that.
I don't like this. I don't like someone leaving bingo not telling me. There's a group chat. We had a code. They were not very forthcoming. They were like, we actually had a nice time. And I'm like, this isn't what this is about.
This is the thing where you're like, we got to talk about your bucks on the podcast. And I'm like, I don't know if we have to.
We want to.
We can.
We set it up. We thought it'd be very fun. I'm very sad that no one remembers the ironic racist thing that was said.
Oh,
I would have liked it.
I'm sure there were several. The one thing that I thought was quite funny was like having my dad, because my dad has spent such little time around my mates, and just seeing like 2 distinct generation of men like in these conversations where like within 15 minutes my mate rocks up and he's like, so we went to Taylor Swift last night. And my dad laughed and he goes, I thought you were joking.
That's great. Roasted.
Unintentionally. Just telling the truth.
That's so strong. So did your dad bring a friend his own age to hang out with? Yeah,
sure
dads
did.
do that.
I've got to ask that. It's usually an uncle or
Yeah.
a buddy, but you got to bring someone just to be like, how else am I going to be able to drink with these bloody weirdos?
Yeah. Who's going to... We can't talk about self-managed super funds unless I bring someone my own age.
Apparently, so my dad brought his mate Tony, and everyone spoke very highly of Tony, and I don't really like. Everyone was like, "Tony's such a fucking legend," and I don't really know why. Except the other thing that I was told, it was kind of that time where like everyone was a little bit too drunk to really kind of explain anything that was out of the norm. And I was like, "What did Tony?" It was like we were just like sitting on the balcony, and Tony just came, and he just fucking like dressed each of us down, like told us exactly who we are and what our thing was. I was like, what? Was it low cash stuff? I was like, what is his idea? He was like, oh, just that I have no self-esteem. I'm like, he sounds like he killed it.
Dude,
Tony.
I can't believe Tony's trying to fuck all your mates.
It was a bit like
Just
that.
nagging them on the balcony,
nagging
seeing if he can
everyone.
close.
That's what shocked me, is that they've gone that he's a legend. After that, I would have been like, who's his fucking old man River telling us all what's what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, maybe he's a powerful unit. Maybe we just can't picture it. I mean, he's not wearing an Akubra
I mean,
or any kind of fun
if he
hat.
shouted me a couple of beers at a shot, I'd let him call me whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know?
That is actually how we got you on the pod to begin with, I believe. Couple of beers. Let's abuse Hammer for a sec. All right. So that was nothing noteworthy, nothing particularly wild. I mean, I
I
like
think
Tony
so.
dressing everybody down. That's pretty red hot behavior from
Yeah.
like a ring in.
Yeah.
Like the dad's ring in. You know, was your dad well behaved?
That was well behaved. Yeah, that was good. It was just that same thing of like at the Hijinks Hotel thing. A couple of guys, I think they'd had a big night the night before, and there was a special on Red Bull cocktails, and they came back with like little. They kind of been like wine glasses. They're like purple, and they had like little hibiscus flowers and whatever. And my dad was like, "That was like a nice little drink you got there, mate." And he looked at my dad looks at the Red Bull and goes, "Oh, you're not pregnant, are you?"
I sent Tom a nice message at 2 p.m. on his Bucks party to wish him.
Did you talk to him?
I said I wish you a happy Bucks.
I didn't talk to him.
And I said I hope someone blows cocaine up your ass.
Oh.
And he replied, "Thank you, mate. So far we've played puzzle rooms and darts." It shouldn't sound to me like the wildest of parties, but it was only 7 p.m, so I wasn't judging. But yes, it sounds like it was. I'm not going to go into the rest of the messages where I ordered you a mountain of drugs and hookers.
You said strippers, didn't say anything about hookers. Not on the bingo board.
Was it on the bingo board?
I mean, it's very clear they didn't dance. I just fucked them.
Turn that music off.
Sorry, I think there's been a wrong booking here.
I got an email today from Junkyard by management about my bill in Adelaide, because they're like, "How did you spend $70 on the vending machine at the hotel?"
So, I restrained myself.
And I had to explain, I'm like, no, that they serve beers out of the vending machine at the hotel.
Really?
Yeah, in Adelaide, it's something I'm not used to.
That doesn't sound legal
This
in
sounds
this
like
country.
This sounds like a bowling lie, if you ask me.
It was
Yeah, I drank 250 of them in one game. Crazy.
so if you scanned your hotel, you had to scan your hotel room card before it would activate.
Oh, so
the
they had
machine.
like your age.
I guess so.
Yeah, right.
But you could get beers out of it, and so I had to explain, like, no, like I'm not binge eating. I'm an alcoholic.
Can I ask, how much was a beer in a vendo?
I think it was $10.
That's very reasonable.
That's very.
yeah.
Well, oh,
Can? Surely a can.
can of
Can.
of what?
Cooper's? Green?
There was some beer I'd never heard before that just said pale ale on it. They had something. Fuck, I can't remember. There was about 6.
I thought you were so steady then. It's like when a dog senses prey. You just got real still, and I thought, like, fuck, he's accessing his photographic memory of beers. This guy can remember a case the second it's opened.
Whenever Hamo forgets something mid-sentence, it always turns into a bit of an ASMR podcast. It's like, it was a...
Speaking of which, have you heard Dan Rosario laugh?
Yeah, he sounds like a cartoon dog.
Oh man, he sounded like a barista making a coffee. It was so weird. I was sitting watching. We were at this gig called the Fat Cave,
Oh, yeah.
And
I've attended a gig at the Fat Cave.
in the Fat
You were
Cave.
my security at the
I was
Fat
your
Cave.
security guard. I was Dan Thuggleton.
Yeah, like because Rory Lowe was drunk off his fucking tits, and I was like, you got to keep him off stage. And I dressed him and Lacazio up in tracksuits, and they stood either side of the stage like Secret Service.
Did you actually have to keep Rory off?
Well, we failed, and then Rory walked onto stage wearing a turban and in nothing else but a mangina. Walked up in front of me, turned around, slapped me in the face, and kept walking off the stage.
Fucking
You
hell.
try to get security, this is how they fucking behave.
Hey, you were fine.
Throw him down and kick him.
Did you slap him back?
No.
Oh,
Jeez.
come on, mate. What kind of security guard are you?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even ask him how many drinks he'd had that night. Hey, this isn't new. That was good gear.
I
Good
was sitting
fun.
at the back with Dan Rosario and just listening to him laugh at jokes, going like,
Oh, who is that? Which cartoon dog? I know.
Muttley.
Muttley. Yeah.
But it was.
Oh my God. Sorry. I
There we
have
go.
Adelaide Scoop.
Here we go.
I solved one of the cabin mysteries.
Here we go.
You know one of the mysteries of the cabin? Mate, what voice am I doing? What's this voice?
No way.
Solved it in Adelaide. Shout out to Mickey D, who runs the Fat Cave, which is why I remembered. I am doing the taxi driver from Billy Birmingham's 12th Man.
Oh.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
The guy's taking Richard to the airport. Yeah, get fucked there, mate. Go fuck yourself, mate. All right, mate. I go on there, mate. Go on to the cricket, mate. Yeah, go on all day there,
but
mate.
how did he help you that?
Because I was just like, holy shit, you'd know. Like, he's such a, Australian comedy, like, fucking savant. I'm like, you'd know this voice. You must. Because I haven't invented it. And he was like, it's the taxi driver from the 12th Man. I'm like, you are fucking spot on. That's exactly who it is.
That must have
Apologies
been-
to Conor Fruiterer and his wife.
That must have been a phenomenal feeling. Getting the answer to that?
Yeah, and let me tell you, the Uber driver did not appreciate it. I'm like, that's who it is. Mate, I don't know what the fuck it is now, mate. And the Uber driver's like, what is going on back there?
No offense to stereotype, mate. We don't talk like that, mate.
He's like, do you mind if I take a phone call? Yeah, sorry about that, mate. Some fuckers in the cab, mate. They're just fucking talking in the back about some fucking 12th man, mate. I fucking hate cricket, mate. Anyway, it was
That's
so
very satisfying.
good to resolve it. If you haven't listened to 12th Man, Australian cricket commentary parody, fuck, it's specific.
Yeah, it is specific,
But that's
isn't
who
it?
it is. That is absolutely who it is. Done. Solved. We can end the podcast now.
That feels good. That
Feels
scratch.
good.
It's all right. Until Hamo can bowl 260 in a bowling competition, that's the next thing we need to do, and then the podcast can continue.
So the next Flog Cabin Live at a bowling alley.
I better order
For
the
every
bags.
strike you don't bowl, you got to do a shot.
That might actually make me be even better.
That's true. You got to
'Cause
find yourself.
I'm
up there.
very good at pool when I'm pissed.
Everyone, this is fuck. No, I'm jumping in on this. I'm sick of it. It's Australian male stereotype bullshit. It's like I'm better at pool when I'm drunk.
I am.
And then that thing, but you got to find the sweet spot because sometimes you get too drunk.
No,
you
I
shit
get-
at pool. You're trying to justify it. Shut up. Cunt.
No, I buy it. I reckon there's a middle ground for sure.
I have shaky hands. And then
As,
I have
as
shaky
evidenced
hands.
by your microphone technique, you have very untrustworthy
I have
hands.
shaky hands. But when I'm absolutely full-blown pissed, they're just calm. And I can see with like just sniper vision.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
That's
Well,
one
I've
of the
said
great
I was in-
reframes of alcohol withdrawals I've heard.
Yeah, when I drink, I don't get the shakes no more. This alcohol's doing me wonders, folks.
When you say it like that, that sounds quite silly. Yeah.
But I just, everyone peddles it. Everyone's doing that thing. It's like, I haven't had enough beers. That's why I'm shit. I'm like, then they have a lot of beers. Like, I've had too many. But if I'm in the sweet spot.
That's different. Being shit at pool when you're sober is not justifiable. Being better at pool after 3 beers, I think is justifiable.
Yep.
But then, like, 4 beers in, you're bad again. Did you not just play one good game of pool?
Possibly. But don't you...
And then you counted how many beers you had before it. Now that's your level.
But would you have said, at least at a certain point, would you have said that about comedy? Like, there was a sweet spot of after a few beers you were better at than when you were sober?
I mean, there still is for me. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm doing a gig seriously, like, yeah, I need a couple. But I'm not also then sitting there being like, yeah, but if I have 4, I've had too many and that's why I bombed. Like, I'm sorry. We can't keep blaming alcohol for our problems.
I just disagree with this entirely. I think that there is an area where you definitely do get better. and then some of us who were born to succeed even get even better.
Are you bringing your Alpha Bro character onto this podcast?
No, that was actually that was him quoting Tom Hardy. The original Alpha, Tom Hardy.
Born to Succeed, the Tom Hardy story.
He was invented by the Greeks. Dude, Born to Succeed.
Go on.
Oh well, I was just going to say that when I definitely am very pissed, I get even better.
There's no upper limit. For
There
your
is
drunken pool play.
Well, there has been a limit, but you won't find it for many beers.
Yeah. At that point, I have to leave and go to the bowling alley.
At that point, I'm more likely to hit the guy with the pool cue and say, I won anyway. I needed money, win.
I played a lot worse in the last game, but to be fair, I had snapped the pool cue in half by that point. The handle was sticking out of some bloke's neck. But
And a couple of balls were missing.
and one of my socks.
Look, I actually also had an Adelaide having to message my management incident. I can't believe that this is lined up. Because I got water in my hotel room every day. We're different people, you and I, Hammer. I got bottles of water in my hotel room every day, and I'm like, man, complimentary water, 2 bottles every day. This is outstanding. And then yesterday, on the final day, I saw the sign next to the water that I said, hey, free water. But it actually said, these are $4 a bottle. So I've just snapped like 20 waters. So my manager's going to get a bill for $80 of water.
Yeah.
And being like, what is he?
Yeah.
What kind of weird unit is this? Just how hungover is he? Fucking plenty in Adelaide. You
At
better
least my
believe it.
guys are looking at it being like, oh, he spent $70 on beers. Like, good on him. But
Yeah, I
it's
spent more on
$80
water.
on water. Like, what a fucking hydrated loser.
What an idiot. Go down the shops, get a 24 pack for $12. This guy's a goddamn fool.
Yeah, there's no equivalent for beer on that one.
That's a good point. You made a good point, Tom. You've done well.
I enjoyed the Amos episode. It was fun.
Big Amos in the cabin?
Yeah, it was
the
good.
higher power.
I did think it was interesting when he was like, so I just assumed that the point of this podcast was you come on and you tell stories about a time that you were a flog. And I'm like, oh, is that what this podcast should have been the entire time? Like, is that...
That's fucking predictable, mate. We've gone way deeper than that.
Yeah.
This podcast is mostly about shitting.
Yeah, and the Wahlbergs.
We're niche, baby.
In some ways, that's much better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stuff people want to hear about.
There's way more Wahlbergs than times I've been a flog.
Maybe you. Not me.
But
We
yeah,
have to see how many Wahlbergs we can get on this podcast.
Dude.
Like, just tick them off one by one.
I assume that is now the point of the
That's
podcast.
the whole point of the podcast.
It's like Pokemon, but Wahlbergs.
Yeah, it's decode Dad's impressions and meet the Wahlbergs.
Well, surely us doing a live pod at Wahlburgers is the first step towards them knowing when they're in town, like,
Surely
We're their guys.
we can use your cameo contacts to get like at least Donnie to do a cameo about the podcast at Wahlberg's. Maybe it sparks his interest.
I feel like the fact we know Donnie's name and there's like 7 of them means that he's at least like mid-tier. Like, I reckon we can go even lower.
Paul?
Paul, he's the chef, right? He's the one that runs Wahlburgers.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul Berg.
Chef Paul. Chef Paul.
Chef Paul.
Chef Paul.
And then, there's more.
There's so many more. We got to start with the ones that don't have Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, that's the one. They're not all public figures.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. Like, and they're not all in showbiz. They're the hardest to get.
You think so?
One's just probably a truck driver.
What, are we going to go to fucking Boston just kind of find them? Hey, my favorite band's the Funky Bunch. I
Well,
wonder if there's any here.
I'm gonna need some notice on that one because apparently I've been told that I can get into America, but it's going to be a bit of work.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's not Mission Impossible. It's just
And so when you get into Mexico?
how many officials do you have to bribe or something like that?
For real?
It's just a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
But apparently my rehabilitation story would be compelling enough to get me a visa waiver.
Oh, Americans love a comeback.
I'll have to come back. And 25% of my Instagram audience are Americans. So
There you go.
And I was recently a guest on a pod, which was the National Firefighter Radio.
American National
American
Firefighter.
firefighters.
Not Australian?
No, I'm big with the firefighters.
What's wrong
in
with our
America.
boys, mate?
Hey, if they ask me to do one for the Rural Fire Service or whatever it's called, FM.
I mean, you just don't sound like a fan. I don't think you know any of their albums. What are they called again? The RFS.
The Fireys? Yeah, Rural Fire Service.
Yeah,
but
dude.
yeah, shout out to them. If they ever want me on whatever pod they've got, I'll jump on. But I got asked by the Americans, and I did.
What for?
Yeah.
They think
Just
I'm
fire safety tips?
they like my comeback story. They like people to talk about mindset. Mindset, comebacks, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a shining example of the community. Are you not aware of this?
Is putting out a fire a real mindset issue?
Well, it's struggling with the life of the job. There's struggles to the job, and
such as what are some of the struggles that firemen have to overcome?
well, maybe you got a bad back and you got to go down the pole.
Yeah, 9/11.
Maybe the.
Oh boy, that is a struggle. Look, I admit, that would be tough.
That's probably worse than the bad back, to be honest.
That would affect my job. Actually, I think comedians would be like, man, what if there wasn't 9/11? What do we compare stuff to? This is a really fun punchline as long as you're outside America.
Yeah.
If there was no 9/11, what are we doing?
Didn't you open with a 9/11 joke in New York?
Yep.
How'd that go?
The venue blacked out and it was handy. Gave me some time to scramble. Kept back. No, it was really funny. I realized, I think in my first 3 specials, I opened with a 9/11 joke. It's weird. I just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Never forget.
That's a funny brag, though. It's a deep well.
Yeah. Dude, right now I'm at 27:33. Thank God I landed that plane, huh? But no, the higher power thing. We talked about Amos. We talked to Amos about the higher power coming back bigoted. You got a mate.
I got a mate.
Of course, you've got a fucking mate.
Friend of mine who you've met, who now lives in Mullumbimby.
That guy.
That guy.
The nice little comedy show guy.
Nice little comedy show. Little comedy set. Really enjoyed your little comedy set.
That guy.
Yeah.
Didn't pay for a ticket.
Well, once you've met the higher power, they are little comedy sets, aren't they?
And just check out that this guy would live in Mullumbimby.
Oh yeah. So when I first, actually, it was the year before. On the first time I was on tour with you, and I spent the afternoon with him because he just moved up there, and he was telling me about, because he'd only been there for a little while at that point. He was talking about how his neighbor grows mushrooms or whatever. There's a lot of ready access to it.
Wasn't me.
And he was telling me about some trip he'd had recently. And he was like, and I was just like, I had this trip, and I was like climbing a mountain, and I got to the top of this mountain, and there was a guy there, and there was this old man with this big white beard, and he was like, "Hello, Sonny," and he's like, "Hey, Sonny, the gays rule the world." and then I also was silent. And he goes, "And when you think about it, they kind of do rule the world." And I was like, "Do they?" And he's like, well, when you really think about it. And he couldn't really go any further, and then we moved on.
Yeah, he was thinking about it, not talking about it. That's the thing. Up here, it all made a lot of sense. And then you say it out loud, and you're like, wait a second, I don't think they do.
No.
I don't remember when Carson told me to get out of bed and go to work in the gulag.
Think about it. Do your independent research. That's what these guys always peddle, They don't have anything to back it up.
They're free thinkers. They don't get paid for it.
Yeah. Open your mind. You're smart enough.
You put the pieces together, mate. If you think about it, though. No, I think actually if you think about it. When I think about it, nah. But that was the thing. The mushroom grower beard man was the gays are in charge.
Yeah, and I think, and not just are they in charge, but it's a bit of a problem.
It's a bit of a problem.
It's a bit of a problem. It's something we need to sort out.
So wait, did your mate hear this and then go, actually, that's interesting, I agree? Or?
Yeah, I think it's really changed the way that I see the world now.
Wow, what's going on in the Kool-Aid over in Mullumbimby?
Is there an odd progressiveness to that where they see gay people as these vastly successful authority figures? In a way that, I'll be honest, I don't. They're doing fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you say that for people who think Jews rule the world?
Nope. Nope. I was trying to give you, mate, some kind of leverage on this thing, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, there's really no way that you can ever spin that into a positive idea.
No, you're right. But you're right. The phrase gays run the world, in the right hands, could just be a top 40 pop hit.
But when you mentioned about the Jews, and then you think about it,
Yeah, that's never going to top the charts because you know who decides what's on the top of the charts.
The gays. That's so funny. Yeah, I love that it was like our dumb abstract idea, and your mate's like, no, you do that. When I take shrooms, I really get into who does rule the world and start treating them worse. That's my vibe.
Happy Mardi Gras to everyone who celebrates.
Oh, is it Mardi Gras?
happy gay Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep. This weekend, it used to be my most profitable weekend of the year as a drug dealer. Gay Christmas, man, a lot of money all week. People flying in from New York and LA, guys, with just heaps of cash.
And it pays to run the world.
And it pays.
They're there to oversee the parade, make sure everything's as it should be.
I can imagine that must be a very profitable time.
I had my English mate hanging out with me one time when I was selling drugs, and he's quite a good-looking dude. And they asked him, so I forget how it came up because I was quite drugged up at the time, but this gay bloke came in to buy some drugs and then said, he's quite attractive. How much drugs do I have to buy before he'll, like, get naked? And this is a totally straight dude. And I was like, we're not doing that. And then as soon as he left, I was like, Tim, how much? How much?
Just in case the question ever comes up again,
the
it's good to
next
have a
customer.
figure in mind.
Yeah.
And so the next year, I think.
Wait, did he put a figure on it?
He didn't that year. But then a year later, he must have been short on cash. He's like, hey, man, I was thinking about that thing where that guy asked you if... he's like, what if I just sit in the house naked when, you know... And I was like, yeah, we can explore this. Like...
That's so funny if he's just going to sit in the house naked, just presuming everyone will be happy to pay that tax.
Yeah.
Where, like, so this is 300 and obviously...
No, well, we'd have to have a towel over him or something, you know, and then be like, all right, congratulations, you've hit the $1,200 minimum spend. Tim, take the towel off.
Tim, do a little dance. Twirl a little bit, twirl
And
a little bit.
he's got a big hog on him as well. So, you know, it would have been good for the customers, good for Tim, but we never end up getting into it.
Good for business.
Good for the customers, good for Tim. Tim would have liked it. A couple of compliments, a bit of side cash.
Yeah.
It is funny that like a year later, he'd like been clearly thinking about it for the whole time. He's like, have I fucking missed my meal ticket here? Have I turned down the financial opportunity of a lifetime? Being naked in a drug dealer's house for a cut?
I wasn't ruling it out. It would have been great for business, you know?
Would you put him on like a little pedestal, like a sculpture?
I was just going to have him sitting, like hanging out on the couch or something. I hadn't really thought that.
Kind of like Burt Reynoldsing it? Like, you know, just kind of leant out, like kind of suggestive or... Let's really get into the poses here.
You get guys rocking up. It's like, yeah, we're all good for drugs, but can we see Tim?
I'd like a hit of Tim.
Hit a Tim.
And I just have a sign: minimum spend, minimum.
Fellas, you know Tim don't come cheap. In fact, if you wanted to come, that's very expensive.
That's a much bigger spend. Yes, but these are the kind of silly things that we have conversations about.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on cocaine, you got to talk about something. You can't just keep going on about how high that bowling score was that time.
How big do you think your penis has to be as a man for it to be common knowledge amongst your mates that you have a big cock?
Bigger than ours. Because I haven't heard any stuff about anyone of the flogs.
Yeah.
And we're brought to you by Pilot.
Yeah, I think it gets around, doesn't it, when they're famously large. Although the guys I know that have famously large ones also like don't go that much out of their way to like, you know,
Keep them secret.
be discreet. Like,
Oh, they're getting them out.
yeah, they'll do it like as a joke. Like I had one of my mates sent me a photo from New Zealand recently. He was like doing drugs and it was a joke about something on the table, but it just had his cock in the photo. And it's like just because he's just got such an enormous cock.
It's just
That's
there.
so funny that Tim's like, I don't want to get paid for it. I just do it for the love of the game. If I was not getting paid for it, it's going to just make it feel weird and dirty.
If it's going to help your drug business suced,
I'm happy to do it,
I've got
mate.
you, brother.
I'm happy to support you. In fact, I'll write your phone number on my cock. Couple of repeat customers, don't mind that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it kind of in a group of mates, like there's always one, like kind of like the like obelisk in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like it's the big cock around which we, the monkeys, gather to begin our society. We're like, whoa, I wish it was mine. We're just like going around it in a concentric circle, and we're like, all right, we're gonna be fine.
I think some of the listeners are going to be quite impressed with that reference. The obelisk.
Are you?
There we go.
Every now and again, mate. I've seen a couple of films.
You know, Tim, he's a big Kubrick guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know that scene in A Clockwork Orange? You have to widen your eyes. That's what you need to do to see it. Oh, it's thick. Let's not pretend you can see it with your lids down. You need them up.
Okay, a Cockwork Orange.
Oh, hello. It is. Oh, that was beautiful work. But no, I definitely, in my group of friends, there's like one guy with a big hog, and you know it's the guy with the big hog, and like you've all seen the big hog. Photos go around at some point. There's a certain level of intoxication and curiosity that means, come on.
Yeah.
You must be having something. I remember my friend, I found this very funny. He was just like, I was like, hey, a girl's asked me to send like a dick pic. You're the master. give me some pro tips. And he's like, oh, just send her this. And it was just his cock. And I was like, well, I mean, that is a better picture. I agree. You're also in better shape, you know, but I feel like she's going to unwrap it and be like, this is not what I ordered.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's cockfishing, right? That's
Cockfishing.
that must be a thing.
Cockfishing. That must be on Urban Dictionary somewhere.
Cockfishing.
Come on, you reckon?
Yeah,
I reckon
absolutely
a lock.
has to be cockfishing.
Cockfishing. Sending a picture of someone else's cock in order to gain interest in your own cock. Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe they just keep it vague enough to still be catfishing. Maybe they don't need to go.
We need a specific name for this.
Yeah. Hammer is on the research.
Cockfishing is a disturbing new dating trend that you need to know about.
Here we go. What year was that? 2019.
Yep.
Wow.
Pre-pandemic.
Pretty new.
Cockfishing, that is... except...
Guys in 2018 were just too honest.
Cockfishing, or sometimes known as catcocks, are closely related to catfishing because they use the wonderful world of the World Wide Web to misrepresent who they are to potential friends or dates.
That's so funny that someone's like, I've got the perfect name for this.
A cockfish...
Catcocks. And so it's like, what about cockfishing? Like,
It's like, oh, that is better. Man, thank God we didn't send out the first draft, huh?
A cockfish only changes one thing, the size of their penis. Yep.
A cockfish only changes one thing? That sounds like a terrifying poem.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Cockfishing, it is a thing.
Real first rule of Fight Club energy to that statement.
There's only one rule to cockfishing. You can only change your cock.
That's so like, cockfishes are like, Andrew, I've heard some very disturbing rumors. I heard you sent a photo of you that wasn't your face. Is that right? We have strict rules about this at Cock Club.
Yeah, and you've been using a fake name? That goes against the entire ideology of cockfishing. That's not what we're about. We're about misrepresenting ourselves. Not misrepresenting who we are.
Sorry, no, it was a fake name I gave my penis. Oh, okay.
Wait, you photoshopped your ball sack? But not the cock?
Just these dick pics going around. Huge cock, tiny balls. They're just like, oh man, this steroid user is ready.
It's like one of those perspective tricks where you see two people, but one looks massive and one looks little.
Yeah, it's just like, it is actually a photo of your cock, but you make it seem a lot bigger than it is using the angle. It's called Tom Cruising. Good stuff. Good stuff, folks. All right. Well, fuck, we're pretty deep in. We need an ad read.
I was just thinking, because they made him look bigger for Jack Reacher, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Zach Reacher.
And he's back.
We're back in the game. I was like, where are we going with this? I'm like, oh, I made him taller. Reacher, that's good. Like, he doesn't need the step ladder. Excellent. Where are we going? There's moves here, Hamo, but you seem snookered, brother. Get a couple of beers in, mate. It makes me a better player. So, Tom, did you get the pilot ad I sent for you?
I did.
Just to the loyal floggers, we've actually had a directive from Pilot.
They're loving our work so much
that we've now been asked to endorse another one of their products. And Tom, I believe your ad read should cover it.
I think what's happened is Flog Cabin has single-handedly cured erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
And we've had to move on to one of the next problems.
Because you listen to our podcast while you're fucking, you will never come. Ever. You'll just keep going. You'll fuck forever, lads. But your dick will stay rock hard.
All right. Hello, I'm Tom Witcombe, a flog with a secret to reveal. Pilot has actually cured my inconsistent cock. That's right, floggers. I'm rock hard right now. And now, a real softie. And then hard again. I don't get it.
Because you got incredible cock control thanks to Pilot.
Wow. That actually is impressive.
That is.
That's just how good Pilot is. But now I've got a new problem. My hairline. It's softer than my cock used to be. Seriously, every time I comb it, I feel like I'm pushing rope, no matter how much I masturbate during. But luckily, I found, Pilot. With their treatment, my hairline is back to being as rock hard as my cock. Pilot, hair made easy.
Is there a promo code? Floggers20? Are we doing that?
Floggers20, I believe that still applies. The
There we
floggers
go.
just for the loyal floggers, you need to understand, we got this directive really late. So I already had the ad and just had to change it.
Yeah, you did
okay,
so you did Control F cock, replace hair, and you're like, replace, next, replace, next. Not all of them, just a few of them.
Just a few of them.
Do they have a catchy phrase like hard made easy for the hair?
I don't know. I can't emphasize. We got this directive very late.
All right. I just imagine you just at home just scrolling the Pilot website.
Why would I be doing that, man?
Just seeing what other products they got available.
Well, look, as the person on the podcast with the worst hairline, I dare say this new advertising is going to be a rough month for me.
Well, I think I'm going to be just having to keep writing ads for both of you guys because my hair's not going anywhere.
Yeah, take the cap off then, cunt. Oh, it's good.
We've had this conversation before,
I'm
haven't we?
going grey. I'm never going bald.
Well, with Pilot, no, they don't do hair dye. As far as I'm aware, maybe they do. I haven't checked.
There we go. It's in
We'll get on
R&D.
Yes. So there you go. Now, hair loss instead of impotent cock ads. I think it's going to be harder.
Yeah.
But that's what Pilot is all about.
I do. I was like, oh, hair, this is a new subject. Still a lot of talk about my cock in this. Can't help but notice.
Mate, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, fix it with Pilot.
I mean, there's nothing that says we can't include plenty of cock bands in a hair ad.
Cock pants.
Cock pants?
Cock bands.
Go on.
I'm just saying we could be creative with the brief, right?
Dude, we can be as creative as we want.
There we
There's
go.
literally zero oversight. They haven't offered any notes apart from please stop advertising one of our products. That's the kind of creative freedom we get here over at Pilot.
Yeah.
Lovely people. Great hairlines. Hard cocks.
And they've given us an office, which is just
Dude,
really,
how profesh is this?
This is amazing.
We're talking about this, are we? I thought we were in the cabin.
We're in the cabin.
We're in a cabin. We're in the office. We're in the
office
home
cabin.
office.
The cabin is so big now, Tom Witcombe, that it's got an office.
Yeah.
It's got a work from home space.
Yep.
In the cabin. What are we doing while we're working? Mainly sending letters to the government. Because we finished our pure maths degree, got disenchanted with the world, and started blaming the gays for things. That is a vague reference to the Unabomber.
Oh, okay. I didn't get what that was.
I didn't.
Did you put that together?
I'm not smart enough to get that one.
No, but we also both laughed at Obelisk before we realized what you were talking about. We were both like, I know that word.
It's a funny word.
Funny word. And you were like, space rodacy.
Space Odyssey.
That's a good one.
That's good. That's good stuff, folks. We're doing well. We're cooking. It's getting hot again. It's another one of those cabins where the quality of the chat is going to deteriorate as we heat up.
And you're both wearing shorts as well.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got? We're speaking a lot of movie chat so far. You brought up Jack Reacher before for no reason.
Well, because Tom Cruise, they made him have to look big when he's a very small man.
Go on.
Okay, Sack Reacher. What do you reckon?
So, were you going to pitch? I heard we were going to get another Hamilton movie pitch this week. Is that what we're doing?
I do have another movie from the archive of questionable ideas.
What did you... Archive?
The archive.
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 From the archive.
You did say archive, didn't you?
And I was like, what happened here?
I was trying to say archive. Did I not say archive?
I think Hammer's had a few too many vending machines before the podcast. A couple of vendos, mate.
All right. So the movie starts. It's a scene at like a.
Oh, it starts with a scene?
It's It's like a control center for a train track, right? A train station.
Is this Speed 3?
It's not Speed 3.
Is it a sequel?
And a guy wakes up and he's tied to the chair and he's chained to the chair and he can see that there's a whole bunch of youths that are...
And what ethnicity are these youths?
They're white. All right?
Plot twist.
They're white youths.
I like it already. This movie must be set in the 80s when every character was white.
And he can see that there's a bunch of youths that are tied to the tracks.
Okay.
Right? Bum, bum, bum. And he wakes up disoriented. He doesn't know where he is. He
Wait,
realizes...
the youths are tied to the tracks?
The youths are tied to the tracks.
And he's tied to a chair.
Oh, I
tied
thought the
to the
youths
chair.
were milling around.
No, they're tied to the tracks.
Loitering, perchance, these youths.
Yep. And then he can also see on the other track his colleague, Phil. And you know that he's a colleague because he's wearing a blue uniform.
The same uniform as the guy who's tied up in the chair.
Exactly.
Oh, man, that really spells out that connection.
And not only that, but then he goes, Phil, because he recognizes it. My God. And so he's sitting in this chair and he realizes he hears that ding, ding, ding of a train coming.
Okay.
Right? And
They still get the ding, ding, ding in the train control station. Because you got to assume that's happening a lot.
Yep. And then...
It was the epicenter for train controlling.
And so then this guy up there, he realizes that the train is going to run over his mate, Phil. I mean, sorry, no, I've got it wrong. It's going to run over the youths.
The youths.
It's going to run over the youths.
Does he also yell their name? Youths!
He must know him.
And so he has this ethical dilemma where he has to decide whether the train is going to hit the youths or his good buddy and work colleague, Phil.
And who it's going to hit the youths initially?
It's going to hit the youths initially.
Could he maybe pull a lever?
He could pull a lever.
And change the direction of the train?
Pull a lever and change the direction of the train.
But he's tied to a chair.
No, he's tied to a chair, but he has a hand that can reach the lever. All right?
Okay.
So as he's crying and already mourning Phil, he has to reach and pulls the lever and the train diverts on the tracks and misses the youths and kills his good buddy Phil.
Uh-huh.
And that's the start of the movie.
Because, go on. I don't want to ruin it for Tom. He's clearly never done Introduction to Ethical Philosophy.
Then it comes up with the title of the movie.
Here we go.
The Ethicist.
It's a good title. Let me tell you something about Hammer's movie pitches. The plot, who knows? But the title is hot.
The Ethicist.
It's a fucking lock.
We cut to Detective Ernie Matthews.
Ernie Matthews?
Ernie Matthews.
Okay.
There we go. He's on the case. And he
What's the
has
case?
The case is that there's a serial killer out there who's killing people with elaborate ethical problems.
University thought experiments.
Let me tell you something about a serial killer. He clearly didn't do second year, where things became more complex and harder to remember.
We have this box. He may or may not have killed this cat. We can't know for sure.
Yeah, he locks up a bunch of people, Milgram, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's ethical problems. And he goes to, Detective Ernie Matthews goes to see Professor Jason Saltwater.
Please tell me the only notes you have about this idea are the names of the characters. You're winging everything else, but you want to nail Ernie Matthews and Professor Jason Saltwater.
Yes.
We can't give Phil a last name. We don't want them to get attached.
So they have to bring... So Jason Saltwater is a professor at a university. He's the head of ethics. Mm-hmm. And so they asked him to consult on this case, this really troubling case where people are getting killed by a guy who clearly read an ethics textbook.
Yes.
Right?
And didn't learn anything.
Or watched an episode of The Good Place.
Okay, so there's ethical problems.
So as he gets involved, he starts to see clues. Professor Jason Saltwater sees these clues, which suggests that the killer has some kind of connection to him,
Okay.
that he knows him.
So it's an expert helping out a detective.
An expert helping out a detective, but it becomes clear that the killer has some kind of beef with the professor.
Whoa.
Can I? All right. I have a theory.
All right, go ahead.
I got a fan theory.
All right.
Is it one of his students?
It's not one of his students.
Okay.
No.
Is it one of his rival professors?
It's not. No. It's not. It's what I thought was better.
Yes.
It's a guy.
Wait, is Guy his name?
No.
Guy Saltwater.
He hasn't got a name. Let's just call him Stephen, right? Stephen has a gripe with this guy because Stephen's son was a very successful young man who owned a driverless car.
Yes.
And the driverless car veered off the road to save a drunk that was crossing the road. And the car saved the drunk by veering off and killing Stephen. And the ethical framework of the driverless car was created by Professor Jason Saltwater.
Oh.
Professor Jason Saltwater? So I'm trying to read it like Scooby-Doo when they rip the thing off the mask, you know?
So it's supposed to be commentary on
It's the ethics professor / owner of the spooky fairgrounds.
So it was supposed to be, a commentary on the complexities of the ethical framework of driverless cars, because they don't know. These people are making this shit up. I don't know what they're doing about. Like, are you going to buy one? Firstly, that's the main thing. Are people going to buy them if it's going to save some retard's life? Running across the road.
Just for any, future, this gets out of context. We are not suggesting that you shouldn't save retarded people.
Absolutely.
Because that goes against the ethics of the podcast, not just Professor Jason Saltburn's ethics.
Controversy is Andrew Hamilton, director of upcoming major film The Ethicist.
The Ethicist.
Has several of his podcast episodes have been released.
So there you go. That was the bare bones of the movie.
So the is a grieving father seeking revenge
on the
for
man,
his son.
The man he blames for the death of his son because he created the ethics that were put into the framework on the driverless cars.
He gave the AI their morality.
Yes, he taught them. Now we want justice.
And what happened?
The ethicist.
What did he do anything to the drunk, or does he not blame the drunk?
The drunk's irrelevant. No, nothing happens to the drunk.
Okay. And do you know how the film ends, or is this like 8?
Yeah, I haven't figured out the ending.
So wait,
these kind of things, I come up with the idea, I write it, and then as I'm writing it, the ending writes itself.
But by writing it, I hope you mean there's slightly more than just the names. Otherwise, I'm really worried about the first manuscript of your book. It's just a list of all the characters. And you're like, I think I'm done. And they're like, oh no, who's Professor Jason Saltwater?
To be fair, writing down a list of names is how I got out of prison.
Hey-o.
Hey, again, just for clarity, Hamo never went to prison. He's not a snitch,
And if
he's
I
just
did,
a liar.
I definitely wouldn't be a snitch.
Exactly,
Right.
not a snitch.
So anyway, there's something there. The Ethicist.
The Ethicist.
Coming to a theatre near you.
So to take revenge on the man responsible for his son's death, he didn't kill him. He killed a series of strangers.
He started a cat and mouse game.
Okay.
Right? It's a cat and mouse game.
To draw Saltburn in, Tom, you fucking idiot.
To make Saltburn question the mistakes of like what exactly are the correct ethics in a modern day world.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Professor, it all makes sense in your book, doesn't it? But what about in the real world?
Exactly right.
Obviously,
There we
the
go.
father is played by Donnie Wahlberg.
There we go.
Let's see if it makes sense out here, Professor. Who are you going to save?
You can be in the brainstorm meeting.
Thank you very much.
This is good
I'm
energy.
there.
I like this.
Tom,
There
you'll
we
be
go.
positive about the Ethicist. And I'm going to be pushing really hard to rename it the Da Vinci Code of Conduct. Thank you.
One of these days, one of these years, we're going to see a movie come out with the name. I've checked. Nothing's ever come out called The Ethicist.
The Ethicist.
The Ethicist.
Is it? It's pretty hard to say.
Did you bought the domain?
The Ethicist.
What do you think it's the Ethicist?
Starring Mike Tyson.
As Professor Saltburn. The trolley car case has worked in theory, but I don't understand. I don't know if it's going to work in practice.
I am the ethicist.
I'm so sorry about Phil. It all made sense. I thought someone perished.
There we go.
I'd actually watch that. I'd 100% watch that. Just to hear him introduce himself constantly in the film as, Mike Tyson, the ethicist.
Right?
It's good.
There we
It's
go.
good gear.
There we go.
I don't care what year it is. Lisps, funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Go fuck yourself, Spain. I think you sound silly.
What?
Because the Spanish, they have a lisp. Because of the king. They all learned Spanish from the fucking Barcelona.
Is it because the king had a lisp
Yeah.
and they just took it on?
Yeah.
Is it a Catalonian thing or a Spanish thing?
Spanish thing.
Wow.
I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought it was just the way they speak.
Well, all of them? How gay do you think Spain is? I'm editing that out. I just wanted to say it.
Just edit back in Hammer using the word retard again.
I can't wait to just take that out of the podcast and have it as my message tone. Look, I think the ethicist has legs.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's all right.
I'm
There
like
we go.
Phil, am I right?
So with all these ideas, I come up with the premise, the gist, right? I don't have a strong ending for any of these things.
Yes.
I figure if I get the energy to write enough of it, the end will come.
So right now, let's say Paramount are like, we love them both. 8, The Ethicist. Which are we going to make first? What are you pushing first?
I mean, I'm more probably creatively stimulated towards 8, just because I fucking really loved 7.
Yep.
So,
And then if it goes well, you can do a prequel, 6.
there we go. All right, get out of my head. Start reading my notes. But again, it would be the number 6, then IX.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah,
It still works. Bulletproof.
There we go.
Then 5 with the 5 is the F, like the band. And it's actually about the band. It's a serial killer killing
Start
members of
killing all
5.
members of 5. And it takes the 4th one for anyone to realize there's a connection.
Wait, are they the ones that have the song All Rise?
No, that's blue.
That's Blue. Fuck. I thought it was 5. That would have been perfect.
5 was like when the lights go out.
I am gonna murder a member of this shitty band, and then it's gonna be investigated by Morgan Freeman, played by a younger man with the same voice. Songs are easy.
I'm just trying to picture that as like the cops knew quite early that they were killing members of 5.
He's a bit wet behind the ears, this bloke.
But they
They have to pretend they don't know.
they're just like, we knew ages ago, but we never were a fan of the band.
He's in the evidence room like... They're kind of checking like, is he going to pick this up?
Man, I want to check that the Backstreet Boys are okay first. Then I get right on this case.
Just say, it wasn't until one of the NSYNC went missing. It's like, hold on. All right, now we need to fucking roll up our sleeves, boys.
That would actually be super funny if there was a boy band serial killer.
The boy band killer.
Yep.
Let me put that one in the pile. I'll come back to you with a pitch.
Just to note it down.
In a couple of weeks.
An hour, 10 minutes. Get rid of that. Easy to lose. I mean, in fairness, we are actually kind of done.
Yep.
I think we've done enough. We've done the damage,
Like
lads.
There was some fun.
But one thing I wanted to put out to the floggers, because all our Melbourne Comedy Festival shows are on sale. Hammer in there whole month. You're there first 2 weeks.
First 2 weeks.
We're going to try to come up with something to get discounted tickets to the floggers for all 3 shows, like kind of like a prize for coming to all 3 shows.
Yeah, I think
a
that's pretty
flog
good.
pack, if you will.
We were talking about it earlier today, and I came up with 3 flog super pass.
That's great. 3 Flog Super Pass is really good.
So something like that, and then whether or not to do a live pod in Melbourne. So if you're a Melbourne flogger, please let us know. We want to put on a live pod, but we don't want to do it unless it's going to be fucking wild like Newcastle.
Yep.
We'll come up with some fun shit. Do we do the Centurion? We'll see.
Oof.
But yeah, we want to do the Melbourne live pod. So if you're a flogger from there and you'd like us to put a live show on during the festival, which is basically April, let us know.
Maybe if we did a live pod, we could do a thing where Hammer plays a game of pool before the pod, and then we drink a bunch of beers, and then he plays again after the pod.
Game.
I like it.
And then we go bowling on cocaine.
Andrew Hamilton was making a joke there. We'd never do cocaine again. He's on part of a corrections order until December. Thank you so much.
That is very
Spoken
correct.
by Andrew Taylor's management. Fucking so dumb. But yeah, do that because and thank you for a few floggers in Adelaide who came to the show. I had a couple in mind. Do you have any in yours?
None that self-identified.
Did you not flog the cabin? At the end of the show, you got to flog the cabin. You're not flogging the cabin. You're a dog, mate.
I told people to go to shows. I didn't flog the cabin.
Dude, flog the cabin. That's how you know if they're there. They don't want to admit it. You've got to really put it on them.
You're right. Yeah.
I asked one of them, a guy in Adelaide, I was like, oh, fan of the podcast. Do you like it? He's like, yeah. And I respected his honesty.
Yeah.
I had a guy spot me on the street, ask for a photo, and I was like, I've got a show, and he was like, oh, and he just walked off, and then he came to the show, and I was like, I thought I was getting so good at reading, like if someone was actually had any interest in coming to the show, but then he was there.
He was there?
Yeah,
Dude, play hard to get.
Gave me a cuddle.
That's why all Tom's mates at the Bucks jerked off Tony. Big ending to the night. Jacking off Tony. Tom says there being like, oh, nice drink. All right, that'll do us. Going to be back in the cabin with Mr. Tom Witcombe, as always.
Check the Dodgems.
Check the Dodgems. Flog the cabin. And watch us on YouTube. There's 5 eps on the YouTube now. Live, going, action-packed.
Pretty good.
You can watch the cabin. You can see what happens inside.
Just pure magic.
That sounded fucking crook. I did not like that at all.
See what happens inside the cabin.
For the love of God, Hamo, end it.
Bye.